here with Sue Broome and her bells. We are here for messages from our loved ones, and we are so excited to have you all here. And we're just going to talk for a minute and get situated and see if folks are coming on live, want to spend some time with us here, receiving messages from Sue from their loved ones. So, Sue, how are you today?
I am doing fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And I'll tell you, I think there's a lineup that's been happening, and I'll tell you about that. But first, how are you, Miss Ruth?
I think I'm good. We've got a beautiful sunny day here in Colorado. And whenever the sun is out, it's a total perspective shift for me. So I'm grateful for that. Of course, your sun never goes away, but I relish it.
You know, I totally understand. There were, especially this time of year in Wisconsin, where it would be cloudy for so many days in a row that it was just like, oh, and we already got people on. But when the sun is shining, it really does make such a difference to my energy.
Exactly. Okay.
As much as I do love, it's been a long time since we've had a day where it's been cloudy and rainy. And I relish those now, but not when I was in Wisconsin.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so I'm just going to share this out with our friends here at Enlightened World. And
I shared it already too.
Okay. We'll find some friends to connect in with.
Yeah, and I see some people popping on, but you're going to be my go-to.
I'm going to be your Ed McMahon.
Yay!
1/11/21, Sue.
I know. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. I wanted to also touch on, my mom passed away a very, very, very long time ago. It was in the 70s. And I don't know, have I ever told you the story about my mom? How she crossed?
No.
Or what happened?
No.
So she was 32, so she was very young. And
Wow.
Which is, when I turned 32, it was really weird.
Yeah.
So she was horseback riding. We were at my cousin's for a family reunion. She was horseback riding. And my cousin and I were on bicycles. And it was usually my cousin and I that rode. She rode the horse my mom was riding, and I rode another horse. And we always had it where when we were heading back to the barn, we would always race. Now, I had the smaller horse, so I would always lose. But that was and the horses would be at a dead run, basically racing all the way back to the barn because they knew that's where the food was going to be. So my mom at the family reunion, she decided to go horseback riding. And actually, I kind of talked her into it. And so for a long time, I had to deal with guilt over, okay, was it my fault? Which, no, it was not. But so she was on the horse, and she was not wearing, she did not have a saddle on. She was bareback. And my cousin and I are coming up the hill. And my cousin says to me, she has no control over that horse. And I'm looking, and as she said that, I'm looking at my mom, and you can see she's it looked like she was flopping more than a person would be on a horse. And the horse gets up to the top, starts to cross the road, and my mom went off the horse onto the pavement. And they called the ambulance. You know, there's different things that I don't remember happening right around there, but she was in the hospital for a couple of days. And I don't remember if it was a day and a half or 2.5 days before she crossed. And she had surgery because her brain was swelling. And I think about that time where she was in that in between, almost like there was a movie with Robin Williams where his wife had committed suicide, and I think she's in this rowboat or he's in this rowboat. Well, how I picture my mom is she's in this rowboat and it's all foggy around her, and she's deciding. Not on a conscious level, on a soul level, she's deciding.
Right.
And she's looking, from where she was in this rowboat. She has 4 kids and a husband that are here, and she has her father and a son here, and a mother that was still living. But on the other side, her father and a son. And so she's in this deciding time. And I think that deciding time, there's a lot of people that before they transition, they are in this deciding time. I think people that go in, that have comas. I think people, and this isn't everybody, but this is, I think there is some, decision, and it's not that one is better than the other, it's what's in their soul.
Right.
And what was their soul lessons. And for some reason this morning, I got this like, talk about this. It's like, I have to talk about this. I have to say this and help people understand that we're here in the 3D world, but our soul is in charge. And yeah, ego likes to think, no, I'm in charge. And it's like, no, we come here to learn, and I feel like my mom on a soul level felt like she could do more on the other side for people that were still here. And she transitioned. So, and I think, going back to the people that are in comas, I think people that have Alzheimer's or dementia, I think that they are in that in between where they're working things out. Maybe they're getting some things, square on their soul's path.
Right.
So,
no, I understand that. And I know both when my friend Sylvia died and when my dad died and when my mom died, and I was with each of them when it happened, I remember feeling like there was this time in this space where they were not necessarily in their body as a spiritual being, but they hadn't died yet either, right? So it was sort of this in between time and place where they were doing their work as a soul, trying to figure out, am I coming? Am I going? Am I going now? Am I going in an hour? What? Kind of fascinating to watch it. It's sort of in between realms, really. I remember really right before my mom died, it was morning and I'm outside the window because, COVID can't be in the building. And I'm watching her and I'm reading her energy. And I remember so clearly seeing her in spirit in a different room. And she was being prepared in spirit for passing. So I'm looking at her body and I'm watching it breathe. So I know she hasn't passed. And I'm watching her spirit in another room being prepared for the transition. Yep. And just sort of that space in between lifetimes. Yeah, so interesting.
Right. It really is. And, because when you were with your mom, even though there was glass between you,
there wasn't.
There wasn't.
Exactly.
And you could, you were holding her hand. And it's so that is what really happened for you. You were really with her, holding her hand.
Yep.
For me, when I was 13, they didn't let kids into the hospital like they do now. This was back in the 70s. But I have, I think I was in my 40s, did a meditation where I was in her hospital room. Nobody else was in there. And I saw her leave her body. So that's my reality now. So I think the reason that this is coming up, Ruth, and I was really looking forward because I know how it was with your mom. And I remember being on that phone call.
Yep.
Was it a day before she
It was
passed?
the day before she passed. Yep.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful because while we were all on the phone with you, I totally was there with you.
It's
And my mom was
yes.
totally there.
Your
And there
mom
were
was,
so many moms that were there. It was so cool.
yes,
And
exactly.
that's our reality. That's what really happened.
Yep. Yep. She was so surrounded by the love of you all who I know, but also the mothers of you all who I know. And it was almost like a hen party where you're like preparing the bride for, what's coming up. It was so rich. And I felt so surrounded in love, and I know she did too, that
Mhm.
when it was time for her to really leave her body, she was so ready. I mean, they had given me the opportunity that morning, literally like half an hour before she was supposed to pass, to go in and sit with her. And I said, I'm good because I know she's good. She,
Right.
even if I went in there and sat with her, I don't even know if it wouldn't have mattered because she was so good. She was so ready, so
Right.
prepared, so loved. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have mattered to her. So,
And that is something that if you have a loved one who is nearing their transition, whether you are with them or whether you are not, one of the things that you can do is energetically be with them, tell stories with other people that know them or people that don't know them. Share stories about what they were like. And if you're with the person, I've been in this situation too, where it's family members sharing funny stories about, their mom or their dad or their sister or their brother. But being in that position, it helps ease the person who is transitioning. It helps ease them in this, when they're in this in-between state, it helps them transition. It helps them have an easier transition because it's like, oh, you know what, they'll be okay.
right, right. A friend called me yesterday and asked me to pray for her friend Valerie, who is transitioning of cancer. And so I went into prayer and I immediately saw Divine Mother already there with Valerie. And it's like, I got on, with my friend, and I said, she's good. She's good. So you do what you need to do, but she's already in the arms of Divine Mother.
Yes.
The prayers have already been heard.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I just, this was really important that we talked about this. And I know you're the perfect person, Ruth, to talk to about this.
We walked through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes, of course. So we do have some folks that would love for you to do a reading. I'm just writing them down here. And if any of you are interested in having Sue pulls a card. Show us your card deck, Sue. Sue created this beautiful card deck. And they're messages from our loved ones.
And the message is on the other side.
Secret messages. So what she's going to do, I'm going to share the name of who's wanting to hear something, and then she's going to see what the message is. So if you are wanting to hear a message, put your name down in the comments. If there's anybody in particular that you are hoping to hear from, put that in the comments as well. So let me just make sure that I'm
And just to let everybody know, this deck came out really, really, really fast after my brother Steve passed away last year around June. And after the fact, I realized, and this was in meditation with my mom, that my two brothers on the other side, Steve and Chris, both were very instrumental in creating this deck. So
I love it. That's so cool. Okay, so the first person is Natalie Loud.
and she's got, that's the person that's here that wants a message from, does she say or no?
Let me see. I don't think so, because I thought I wrote them all down. Would love a message if you feel called. So,
Okay. All right, we'll see. We'll see what's
And-
kind of.
and friends, share this out with your other friends too, because they might want to hear something, and we'd love to keep Sue busy for a little while here.
All right, so I'm just fanning the deck to see if there's, there it is. You know, and it's like, as I'm shuffling the cards, you know, tell your loved ones, come on, get in line here. I do feel like, I think they've been lining up because I thought we were going to be on earlier today. And it's like, okay, so I think they've been lining up, and that's okay. I think they're all lined up. All right. So the card I pulled for Natalie is There Are No Words. And this is so perfect from what we were talking about, because it's you can go into meditation and be with that person. You don't have to be saying something. I know as humans, we think that we have to be saying things all the time. We think our lips have to be, our mouths have to be moving, and they don't. It's all about what is your heart feeling? What is the energy that you are sending out? There are no words. And think about, even if you are holding someone's hand to comfort them, they can feel the love and the energy coming through the hands. You don't need to say anything. So Natalie, there are no words. And I would love to hear in words how that feels to you, Natalie.
So when I was speaking with my friend yesterday in California, you know, her friend Valerie, who's passing, my beautiful friend's name is Cassandra. And Cassandra said, I just feel like I should be doing something. And my comment was, you know, I'm not so sure you need to be doing anything. I think really the question is, what am I supposed to be right now?
Mm-hmm.
How do I hold this person in love right now? Because I can't be with them. I can't, you know, I mean, bake cookies if you want, but it's about holding that space for that person in love while their soul is doing what their soul needs to do to be ready to transition on. Yeah, sometimes there are no words, and that's perfectly okay that there's no words.
That's right. And the being, capital B, capital E, being, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to see if, just trying to see if Natalie had come back on. Okay. All right, the next one is Crystal Marsh. She is hoping to hear from her father.
funny because one of the ways that I see my dad the most is in numbers. And, you know, it may be 312 for his month and day, or 338 for his month and year. And it was so funny. I was watching an old Columbo yesterday, and in the show, I think they were talking about the gunshots. There were 338s, and I'm like, got it, Dad. You know, that 338. It's like,
Oh, I
so
love that. I love that.
it's like, it's,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let me see. And I do shuffle the cards. If I see a card pop out, that's the card. If I don't, then I fan them out. This one, it popped out. Love this. It says, remember our favorite memory. And this is absolutely one of the best ways to connect with your loved one, especially if you are new to connecting with your loved one who's transitioned. Think about some memory that you and your father had together that was so happy. Go into that memory and add in as many details. You know, it's like, remember what the day was like. Were you outside? Were you inside? Remember if there were any scents, anything that you were noticing the aroma of. Were you going on a walk? Was it sunny? Was it cold? You know, all the sounds that you were hearing. Go into that memory and remember all the details from all different directions that you can. And if there are memories, if there are details that you don't remember, make them up. But when you go into that memory and you spend time in that memory, your heart, your soul, your mind doesn't know whether it's real or Memorex.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it is real. So go into a favorite memory with your dad, Crystal. So thank you.
And you may think you're making it up, but you probably aren't. You probably really did experience that, is my guess. So Natalie said, because hers was sort of a general one, and she said grandma, who she used to call Big Mommy. So that's what she connected with there. Okay, Dawn Johnson. I think it's a general one.
Okay. It's funny because when I look this direction, I can see my neighbor's lemon tree. And if I look that direction, I can see my neighbor's lemon tree, my other neighbor. And that one only has, it's the one that caught my eye. So I don't know who, and maybe it's for Dawn, who the lemon itself, because I'm feeling it's the yellow and the lemon that means something to somebody.
Mm.
All right, so the card I have for Miss Dawn, I love this one. Hear my whispers. Hear my whispers. It's so funny because when we're especially first connecting with our loved ones, it's like, I want a sign, give me a sign, you know, and people expect this huge feather the size of your backyard to fall. And it's like, no, it's not always like that. It's these little tiny whispers. It may be, you know, maybe you're outside. And this is something that don't ever disregard this as a sign. You might be outside and having your eyes closed or going for a walk even and asking for a sign, and the wind picks up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pay attention. That's a whisper. Or maybe it's really windy and all of a sudden the wind dies down. That's a whisper. So the signs and the messages come in the softest of ways, and sometimes they come in big ways. But one thing that we we, in order to hear them, especially when they're coming in as whispers, is to be in this present moment. Be aware of what's going on around us. Be aware that there's an airplane I hear. Be aware the chimes are going off. The sun is shining. Be aware of all of those things. Those are the whispers that are all around.
Beautiful. Okay, Dawn, that was for you. Okay, the next one is Annie Sevin, Sevin. She's hoping to hear from her mother, Mona.
It's funny because a friend of mine, her mom's name is Mona. She's on the other side. All right, that one came out pretty fast. Yes, and when you ask your loved ones to step it up, the cards come out quicker. All right, so Mother Mona, ooh, invite me into your dreams.
Aw, that's sweet.
I'll tell you, something that just like with our angels, when we're working with our angels, ask. Ask your angels to come into your dreams. Ask your loved ones to come into your dreams. And maybe you won't have this big, long dream that maybe you won't even remember what the dream was, but you might wake up really happy thinking about a fun memory with your mom.
Right.
So the dream might have been there even though you're not consciously remembering. So as you're falling asleep at night, invite your mom into your dreams. Invite her into your day as you're doing the daily things that you do, whether you're cooking a meal or on the computer or whatever it is that you're doing, folding laundry the way she always used to fold the towels. Invite her into your dreams and into your day.
Yeah, I love that. And they do come in your dreams too. I certainly have experienced that. Okay, the next one, Sophia, I think you pronounce it Rego, Rego. And she wants to hear from Ida. Sorry, I should have seen that. IDA.
Okay. Sophia.
Sophia.
Sophia and Ida. It's funny because I'm seeing doilies. I'm seeing, yeah, little doilies or handkerchiefs or something, the old handkerchiefs that.
Yes.
All right, so Sophia and Ida, we share so many memories, and this again, excuse me, this goes back to the memories, how important they are. And I was talking before about going into a memory. It's also important to share the memories with other people, whether they knew her or whether you're sharing, like future generations of past generations. I think that those memories are really important because that's handing down, because sometimes that's how else are you going to do it? How else are other people going to know? There's things about my mom and my dad that I don't remember. And my brother who transitioned last year, he was the one that had the good memory. So it's like, so sharing those memories with people now, because you had so many with Ida. And if you feel like you don't have anybody to share them with, write them down.
Yes, right.
Write them down and share them with other people. I feel like there's some of the specific memories that are really important tales to tell, almost like, how there's lessons that come out of so many memories. I feel like, Sophia, there's memories that you shared with Ida that are actually really lessons moving forward or for future generations. So
I was, while you're shuffling those, getting ready for Kim Venter. And Kim is looking for her birth dad, Howard Cruz. So while you're looking for that, I just want to share a funny story. My mother, who passed away mid-November, has come to me several times, but every time she does, she's a younger version of her, right? Because in spirit, they can present in whatever way they want. Well, she seems to be about 35 or so. And the other day, I thought to myself, I hope I don't ever forget what my mother looks like, which sounds stupid. I saw her for 60 years, but I hope I don't ever forget what she looked like. And I hope I don't ever forget her voice. Right. But now, every time I see her, she's 35 years old. And so that's the vision that sticks in my head when I think of my mother. It just kind of cracks me up. That whole spirit versus physical realm thing. They're two really different things.
It's funny because people say that, that's the age that everybody comes to them in spirit. And it's like, well, my mom was 32 when she died. So yes, of course, that's what I remember.
That is funny. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kim for Howard.
Right, Howard Cruz.
Our connection is strengthened through your breath. One of the things, and I have a tendency of doing this, that many people do is hold their breath. And I think it's just because people get, busy and stressed and all that and hold their breath. But when you can consciously stop what you're doing and focus on your breath, and focus on your breath first, and just allow yourself to get into a deeper rhythm, and then bring in the memory, the feeling, the love that you have for your loved one, and in this case for Howard. And then focus on your breath. It's like the connection, the heart connection is strengthened because you're breathing almost in sync with your loved one on the other side. It's like tuning the connection is what I'm hearing. It's like just tightening it up. So don't underestimate the power of your breath in helping with the connection to your loved one. So I hope that helps. Hope that brings some comfort, Miss Kim.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. The next one, Terry Pierce, who is looking to hear from her father.
Times are going crazy today because there is definitely a lot of sunshine. Oh, it's funny. And I keep hearing planes. I'm hearing a lot more planes today too. All right. Ooh, notice the flowers I send you. So this is, don't just look outside for the flowers. I happen to be in an area where there are still flowers, outside popping, but not everybody is. But pay attention to the flowers that you're seeing that are, even as you're going about your day, if you pick up a book and you're paging through it, if somebody talks and they mention a rose or they mention daisy, think about that in connection to your father. Maybe it was something that he always connected. Maybe he always gave you daisies on your birthday, or maybe when you were a little girl, he always teased you about dandelions. Have you ever heard that joke where you take a dandelion and hold it under your chin? And if you can see the reflection of yellow, it means you like butter.
Oh.
So, maybe there was some joke between you and your father with some specific flower, but so watch for the flowers that pop up in pictures, in real, in, maybe the scent of that flower. So pay attention to that, Terry, because they're coming from your dad.
Mm. Oh, she says, Nora is saying there that's a buttercup, I think. That's a buttercup, Sue.
I always heard it with dandelions. It was because I don't even know what a buttercup looks like.
Neither. We don't have those here. Okay, coming to us from YouTube, Champagne Cadengo. And Champagne is hoping to hear from her grandfather, Tony.
Champagne and Tony.
And we love to have our folks from YouTube. That's great.
Yeah, that's cool that you have both Facebook and YouTube. Okay. In case you guys are wondering, why do I always look at the card first? Because I can't always read it backwards. So it says, my feelings of love are real always and forever.
Yeah.
Now, and this is, because you've heard the saying, only love is real. And it's true. That is the true essence of everything. And I think the longer people are on the other side, sometimes we forget.
Right.
And I think that's also where the memories come in. When we go into the memories, I think they help remind us of, oh yeah, I had such an awesome connection with this person. And I think that this is just a reminder that, yeah, all those feelings of love, all those memories, all those times that you spent together, whether you were together or not, because you can be talking to somebody, like we're talking to each other, we're not in the same room, but we're still having this memory together. So, and you and I, actually, we've never met in person, have we, Ruth?
No.
But I know how much you love me and I love you.
Yep.
So this is, the feelings of love are there. And so Champagne, don't forget that. And I know with your grandfather, maybe it was both of my grandparents, my first grandpa, he died in the 70s. My second grandpa died in the 80s. So it's a long time, but I know that the love was still there. And the love going back into, thinking about those times when I crawled up into Grandpa Lindy's lap and he's telling me, don't eat those green apples next door, they'll give you a stomach ache.
Okay.
And whose lap did I go to when I ate a green apple and got a stomach ache? Was Grandpa Lindy. So my feelings of love are real always and forever.
That's sweet. Well, you touched Champagne's heart because she's crying and loving and thankful. You really touched her. Thank you. And actually, everybody that you have read so far has sent something saying thank you.
Good. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm very happy to do this, and I'm glad that your loved ones are coming in so loudly.
So the next one is Carrie, Keri, Howell.
And does she have any from anybody?
No, it's just a
Okay.
card, please.
All right. All right, let's see. Yeah, they're coming up faster now, it seems like. You are never alone. Even though there's a TV pro or a movie called Home Alone, no, you are never alone. And, I live alone, and I know I'm never alone. And I think sometimes, yeah, we have to be reminded we have to be reminded that our loved ones are with us, our angels, our guides. And in order to remember that, sometimes we just need to close our eyes. And actually, everybody can do this as long as you're not driving. Close your eyes and go into your heart space, feeling the expansion of love, the unconditional love that you have for someone in your life, whether they are here in the 3D or whether they are on the other side. And when you do that, you know you're not alone. You know that love is all there is. And you are all, it's like we're all connected in that love space. And you're definitely connected to your loved one, whether they're here, transitioned, on the other side of the world, it doesn't matter. You're never alone.
Right. Right. That's beautiful. Okay. The chimes are beautiful, Robin said. I always love the chimes when I'm talking to All
They're
right.
not
So
quite.
the next one, Kristen Stanley is hoping to hear from Grandma Dorothy on her father's side.
Wasn't Dorothy the ruby slippers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Grandma Dorothy. Dorothy is not a name that you hear very much. I don't know that I've ever known a Dorothy.
I've known a Dorothy. It's an older name, like Ruth now. You know, you don't name your kids that anymore. But.
See, and I have an Aunt Ruth, but not a Dorothy that I can think of. All right, let's see. Walk with me. Ooh, I love this. Walk with me. So this takes me to, I used to walk in the woods with my mom. When we would go to our cottage and behind us was all woods. And in the fall, you know, the scent of the leaves in the fall. And her and I would go out walking with the dogs. We had 2 black labs. And it's not like we held hands or anything, but you know, we would just walk, and I don't even remember what we would talk about, but it's a memory that I had of her and I walking. And so, Kristen, what I'm feeling is that there are times when you are walking, turn the headset off, which I usually have something in my ear, you know, going on a podcast or something, but stop all that so you can focus on your grandma when you're walking. Whether you do it, you know, like I'm really going to go outside, or whether you do it in meditation. Walk with her. And it feels like there's some stories that she used to share with you when you were a child, when you would walk. So she was much younger, you know, and I know that some people have a harder time to walk when they're older, but so it feels like you're the child and she's sharing stories with you when you're walking. So go and walk with your grandma, Miss Kristen.
Beautiful. All right, the next one, and so we've only got 2 left for today. The next one is Robin Waters Dykes, and she's hoping to hear from either Kent or Jim or her dad, James.
Kent, Jim, or James?
James.
3 different people.
Yeah. Dad is James.
All right. Well, and what I like to do I'm going to pull 3 different cards, actually. I'm going to fan the cards. Kent. Jim. Have to refan the names. So Kent is feel our connection. And I think as we've been going along, there's a few different ways that we've been talking about strengthening the connection. Excuse me. And it feels like really focusing in, like there's some memory that you have specifically with Kent, or something that that you did together, or that there was some hobby that was like your connection, and it was a stronger connection than everybody else thought you were weird with that connection. It's something like that that is coming, where it's focus on that, because it was a strong connection, and maybe that was the time when the two of you would lose all sense of time and what was going on all around you, but feel that and really get into that. I think that's it feels like it's coming through pretty strong on that for Kent. For Jim, you are enfolded in my love. Now, this is something I say this about angels, I say it about loved ones, is when we want to truly feel the connection, because sometimes it's like, we're human, we like to have that 3D. And ask your loved one. So in this case, ask Jim. Anybody can ask their loved one that you want to feel their love, that you almost like step a little closer until I can feel your love, and step a little closer so I can feel your love, and step a little closer. And then you might notice, a brush of a feather on your cheek, or maybe somebody playing with your hair. You might notice something, but you can keep asking until you feel them enfolding you in their love. And what does that feel like? For everybody, it's a little bit different. For me, sometimes it literally feels like I'm so surrounded, almost like by cotton. That's coming around my shoulders, but everybody feels it differently. And then even it's so interesting that Jim and James, this is feel my love, and this one is you are enfolded in my love. So I love how the energy is very similar between the two. And maybe there was a connection between Jim and James and you that you really all shared together. So look at that. Look at it from that perspective, as well as what I was just saying about feeling the love. Just really go into your heart and feel the love. And just be in that energy of the love, the connection that you had. So I hope that helps.
Okay, lovely. That was beautiful. So our last one, Nora Pike is hoping to hear, Nora Pike Green is hoping to hear from Mom.
This has been fun, Miss Ruth.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're able to do this.
While you're pulling that up, Robin said Kent was a love, Jim was her brother, and James her dad. She said, thank you so much.
Awesome. I was wondering if Jim and James were brother and dad. Well, I knew James was dad, but. Okay, so Nora, notice the scents and aromas. Some people will pick up scents a lot, whether it's the scent of a perfume or a cologne or a cigar. And that's how they always will pick up their loved one. And so Nora, this is very, very specific. I'm feeling like it's either gardenia is what I'm hearing, but it's a flower that is also made into a perfume that it feels like this is relating to. I don't know if there's, because I'm hearing gardenia, and is that a white flower?
It is. It's a little white flower, very strong smell. I'm also hearing jasmine though, too. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, maybe it's jasmine. Is a jasmine a white flower too? The only thing I know about jasmine is it's this really good tea that I have. But so notice the scents and aromas. And so now, because both Ruth and I are picking up on a small white flower, two different kinds, but both of them have very strong scents. Pay attention to white flowers that you're seeing, that you're noticing as well. But, you know, it's funny because sometimes when you pick up a scent, have you ever had it where it's like there's half a breath and you think you smell something and you don't want to take a deeper breath because you think it won't be there?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And it's like, you know what? Go with what you got in the half breath. So Nora, don't doubt what it is that you're noticing in the air. Don't doubt it. Acknowledge it. It's like, oh, I got to take a deeper breath because I think I smell. It's like, wait, I don't. It's like, go with the half a scent that you got and know that that is a sign.
I love that, Sue. I will get that. And it's always a smell that takes me back to my grandparents' carport. They had fruit orchards.
Mhm.
It was a combination between peaches and raspberries. And that smell will send me back there every time. But it's just a whiff. And it's not a full inhale. It's just a whiff. So I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. That's funny. It was like, I must have been mistaken.
No, you weren't.
Nope.
You weren't. That's awesome. Sue,
Yes.
thank you so much. Everybody who has been on has so appreciated everything that you've shared
Awesome.
today.
Awesome.
I love this format. I love being able to be your Ed McMahon and experiencing what you're getting.
I like that you are doing that as well. And I like the interaction because I know we play off each other quite well. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's easier for me to watch the comments than it is for you while you're doing that. So I think we hit on a winner here. So all of our friends who've been here, thank you so much for being here, whether you've come from YouTube. Oh, Nora is asking about white sage. Maybe it's white sage. We both saw
that
white.
definitely, yes. And that definitely has a very distinct smell as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good paying attention, Nora. I like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So our friends, we're going to let you go. Sue, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been great fun. And Sue is willing to do this once a month for us. So friends, be watching for that notification of when it's coming on again.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your loved ones coming in today. Thank you for being on with us live. And thank you, Miss Ruth. I always loved being on Enlightened World Network.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. Folks are saying thank you. So, all right, friends, we love you. Take good care and God